Hello, friends. Welcome to week 3. How is it week 3? Oh my goodness. So this week is going to be all about getting organized. And I'm really excited about this week because you know what? It's something I definitely need to start doing more. All right, let's begin. Can I close this thing? There we go. All right, I'm gonna wear my glasses today, even if I look a little bit like a beetle, but I've been staying up a bit too late doing work because I love it and my eyes hurt. So this week, it's all going to be about getting organized. We're going to start off with talking about how we can be the most time efficient, how we can get organized for success, and talk a little bit about environment and upgrades. I was a little bit worried. I was like, oh, are they going to see the title and think this is really boring? Um, Fair enough. It's not everyone's forte. It's not everyone's cup of tea. Not everybody loves to do it. But I do think this is so much about energy and how we show up in our everyday life, and getting really clear on what we want to bring in is really important for manifesting this big vision that you have in your heart. No, you're going to be messy, you're going to manifest messy. If you're going to get clear, you're going to manifest clear. So let's get clear. Another reason why I think it's really important to get organized, and I think for me it's getting organized for like maximum automation, is, I was watching Izzy doing her swimming lessons. My daughter's 4. And I was like, oh, isn't it cool that I could actually just be working here from my phone while she's doing her swimming lesson? But the life I want for myself and the life I want for you is not a life where you feel stuck to your phone or stuck to your computer. Like, I actually want you to be present in your life. And I think that is the biggest meaning of life. And I thought, like, actually, isn't it even better that I'm sat here watching her do her swimming lesson and I'm actually getting clients and customers and payments come through without me having to be on my phone? I think that's even more powerful. Um, we have a big goal as a family, to want to travel Australia, to want to travel to different places. I'm very lucky to have family across the globe now. So being a digital nomad is something that's really important for me. And for that to happen, like, you have to be organized, you have to get clear, and you need some of these key foundations to be in place. There is never no time to do the things. There's only a lack of organization, lack of clarity on what needs to be done, and lack of prioritization, which all leads to procrastination. Time audit. This is something I actually learned from one of the leaders in doTERRA when I went to one of the conventions, leadership, actually, I think. And what she did basically is really time audit her life. And I actually think this is really powerful. It can seem like it's an annoying thing to do potentially, but honestly, it takes a day, maybe take a day or maybe 3 days to really audit all the different things. It can be hard with kids sometimes. And just get really clear on how long it takes for you to do everything, from like drop off, from leaving your door to getting through the door, and be really honest with that time. There's no point pretending it takes half an hour and actually it takes 35 minutes, because that's not going to work and you're going to feel like you're running out of time on your other tasks. I also think a huge block for success in many ways is that we think some things take a lot of time and they don't. So the big thing with the time audit as well is getting super clear on that. And also, what I do love, what Kim Kardashian actually says in one of her episodes, I love Kim Kardashian, okay, is that she learned to do one thing at a time and stay really focused on that one thing. And that's like the efficiency too. And understanding that, you know what, time yourself now to do something that maybe you're not so used to doing, maybe something that's new. Like we talked about courage last week, getting uncomfortable. Like there might be something that's not super efficient the first time, but let's be like, okay, I'm going to get the most efficient I can at this. But we need to know the starting point and we need to know where we're at to be able to get really, really good at it. You'll see in the document, I've helped you with a few questions to do this time audit, and even below a little bit more about, questions you can ask yourself potentially on when it comes down to planning, and when you're going to go into this space and you're going to choose either the same as me, the Google way of doing it, or maybe you prefer to write down, like whatever it is. But there are things that are really important to write down now, because what I like and what's happened for me is writing down what needs to happen for my business on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, and on a quarterly basis is a really cool thing to do. But when the money starts coming in, okay, well, what can I delegate here? And what needs to change? What actually does still need to be in this? Where am I pivoting? What needs to happen? And I do the same for business. I do the same for home life, and I do the same for my self-care and my connection to source. And I think that's really, really important. I was going to say something else there, but it's gone. Never mind. Priorities. I think this is why I get organized, and a big part of my priority is that I believe in this continuous process of upgrades and continuous success, and that it all comes with new ways and with pivoting and understanding that the way it works today, this is the first draft, but tomorrow I might be like, okay, let's move on to the next draft. I think it's really important to keep the dialogue as well with, you know, your other half or your friends and your family, that, you know, I'm going through some changes. I'm really going for this vision now, and I'm going to be prioritizing this, and this, and just get really clear with each other on like where you're going with this. I love to have the business, like the balance of the business, the self-care and the home care. I think it's really, really important. I see home care as well as, you know, like your grocery shopping, your laundry, like getting all those things done, and the self-care more as like your meditation, like how long you need to take in the morning to get yourself ready, like what makes you feel the most presentable, like is that important to you every day, or is it going to be like, you know, a Friday thing and a weekend thing, like what does it look like for you? And I'll show you a little bit about how I organize my week. But what I like in what I've done is there is breath in there as well. And I think that's important to understand, that we all go through periods of push and periods of rest. And that happens in both business and both in family life. There'll be moments in your business where, like we talked about last week, that step of courage, that going through the uncomfortableness of it, maybe that push to staying up a bit later that night, waking up a little bit earlier the next morning, and just pushing through that schedule to get those things done to upgrade to the next level. Also, same in family life. There may be, you know, kids starting school. We're going to have to really focus on her starting school in January, and I want to make sure that I'm there for her and all the emotions that are going to go through. Am I doing the healings that my family needs right now? Am I actually getting run down and getting sick? Do I need to slow down and take care of myself first? And then it's also important in those periods of push, like I said, you know, if you're getting run down, then let's have those moments of rest. And the more I've really acknowledged and gotten to know myself, and I think this is a really big strength that I love to have with my journey with doTERRA and with the oils, it really taught me to understand my body a little bit better and what I need, and when I can push a little bit further, and when it's like, you know what, it's actually not worth it tonight, I need to go to bed, tomorrow's going to be like, might as well get up early and do that, and just get to know yourself. But understand that there will be periods where you're going to have to push yourself, but once you've gone through that step, let's just celebrate, let's rest, let's, you know, watch some Kim Kardashian, keep up with the Kardashians. No, just kidding. Every minute you spend in planning saves you 10 minutes in execution. This gives you 1,000% return on energy. Okay, this is from Brian Tracy. I actually don't know who he is, and I was actually looking for another quote, but I couldn't find it. But I do know that every like minutes spent planning is exponential to how much you'll get in execution and how much work you'll get done. As much as it seems like you're not doing the work, this is actually really important, so that when you're doing the work, you get more done in less time. This is just something I wanted to share, and like a really cool way that I like to work. You'll see when I share my Google Calendar, I have focus time blocks. And when I get into these focus time, as much as I've got probably 2 hours to 1.5 hours at a time, I generally actually work in 20-minute time slots in that focus time. And that's because I like to do my 20 minutes, put the laundry on, come back. It just feels efficient to me. I find that to be a really good focus time for me, that I can really get stuff done, and I'm pretty efficient in 20 minutes. And whenever you look at the time and you know that you've got 20 minutes to do something, it just feels doable, that you'll get it done before 1 o'clock, or by 1:30 that will be done. It just really works for me. This might not be right for you, be aware of that, but pay attention to what works best for you. I think one of the big things that I had was that I was in this mindset that I needed hours to get something done, when actually I didn't. And if I just sat down for 20 minutes and told myself all I need is 20 minutes, then I actually got a lot done. Yeah, just see what it looks like for you, and it might look different, and just enjoy the process. Oh, the postman's here. Hopefully he'll just leave my parcel at the door. Thank you. You're welcome. Right, now I'm just going to share my screen on how I work my Google Calendar with you. New share. Do I go there? Do I quit? What do I do? Okay, not going well. Oh, no, purple. All right, so I'm just going to share with you my Google Drive. Can you go away? Yeah. Screen sharing has failed to start. That's just great. Just going to stop the share and start again. Here we go. So this is my Google Drive. I have pretty much everything in here, and I love it because I can access it from absolutely anywhere. I've got my mentoring, I've got my TikTok content ideas, I've got my YouTube scripts in here. So if I get inspiration from anywhere I am, I can just pop them in there and it's done. I've got writing for Instagram, I've got my doTERRA stuff, I've got my light work coaching, all the things. But say if I go in the Power View, what I want to show you this week in a really cool way that you can actually organize yourself is if you go into the course content, you can create a master document. And I actually learned this from, well, I did know this, but I never really thought of using it so much. Belinda is the one who reminded me of this. You can link documents with each other from this master document. So say, for example, here we got start with why. I could click on this and it would bring me to that document. And how I do this is pretty simple. You can literally just click this, insert link. And this is really helpful if you want to create some emails or whatever it is you want to do, to if you're creating like a workflow for someone or whatever idea you have. Maybe it's like a series on Instagram. It's really nice to have a master that you can kind of relate back to. So then you can just get organized. And like here, I can link the organized and automated, and then that should just all come up here. Can I open it from here? Don't know, maybe. There we go. And it's really cool that it will just open it here. And I've got the master document. This is going to be your time audit for the week. You can read through that in your own time. But yeah, I just thought it was a cute little tidbit to share with you, which I think is quite a cool way to work through your drive and your document. Let's look at the calendar. Now, Google Calendar, I absolutely love because it connects with my phone. This is probably not one of my best work weeks, actually. Maybe we'll go to the next one. This is probably more what my work week looks like. As you see, I do a lot of focus time. So Power View call is here, but I just have, I mean, this is a catch up now. And I actually scheduled time for networking collaborations. This is also going to be a time scheduled for me to record my podcast, since my podcast is going to be a big collaboration with a lot of people. I like to have family time with no phone. It doesn't always happen these days, but this is actually my goal. And, you know, I think that is also important to say, like, write it down, make it a goal. But if it doesn't happen the first time, then let's just keep trying to get towards what we want. And if it's written down and if it's in your calendar, there's more chance that you're going to create the life that you want with the rhythm that you want than if you don't write it down at all. So I think that's important. When we get to social media week, content creation day, super important. If you're going to make social media part of your advertising of your business, which I think is an incredible tool, schedule it in. I've got my doTERRA focus time on Monday because it's also an important business and part of me. My CEO hour, which I talked about a little bit, whatever week it was, where I sit down and I pull some cards and I think about my business and what's going on. I've got my mentoring with Emma. I've got my workout. And then one thing as well, like I used to have so many different colors. So like, oh, color for this, color for that. I have yellow for work stuff, and then I have gray for family stuff, and that's it. And then you'll see the doTERRA, I just have that in purple. And this is also my weekly planning. I think 2 to 3 colors maximum is the best. And I love Google Calendar because it's just, it's on my phone, it's anywhere. And then what I do as well, oh gosh, it's going to be really awkward if I don't actually have anything written in here. Okay, I don't in this one, but what will usually happen is I'll either write it straight in the focus time. Say if like on Thursday night I'm doing some planning, I'm like, okay, Friday I've got to do this. I can write, I don't know, do emails on Flowdesk or da da da. So when I sit down for focus time, I know it's done, and I really try and put as much information. Yeah, sure, save that. That's great. Just this, thank you. I try and make sure I've got as much information as possible in the actual time slot, because then it will just come up really easily. The other thing I really like to use is notes. Let's just see if it works here. Okay, it keeps pausing every time I change it. Doesn't like it. Resume share. Oh, here we go. New share. New share, please. No, it's not gonna like it. But another thing that you can do on your phone, let me just see if I can actually share this with you. Sorry, guys. Everything is fine. Just gonna open up my notes. I want to share this one. Where did you go? Where did you go? Okay, never mind. Another thing you can do that I don't know if you're aware of is on your notes on your iPhone, and I obviously work with iPhone, so I don't know, you can pin some notes. So I've got like Stewie's admin, business admin, and all those kind of things. So when things are happening in the week or I'm with the kids, I just kind of have them at the top as like a reminder. I've got my grocery meal plans too, so that I know exactly what I'm cooking that day and what's I've actually do 2 weeks normally in advance. I've not been very good at it recently. That's normally my plan, and that's all in my notes. It's really high up, so as soon as I click on them, I've kind of got it, because I also use my notes quite a lot to just write any inspiration that comes through. So yes, I wish I could show this to you, but apparently doesn't want me to. Oh, there we go. Maybe I can. Welcome to my brain. So yeah, as you can see here, I've got like links and color codes linked as well, because it's just all the colors that I use when I'm creating things. I've got my doTERRA links if anybody like asks me stuff. These are like the incantations I do for my doTERRA journey. Don't know why content is there. Usually have biz admin. I think it's not quite updated from my phone, but yeah, Stewie's admin. This is just the things I've got to do. Twins daycare, and I just find it really handy to have that. And then here is just all the chaos that I can just kind of read through if I need to. Anyway, now let's go back to our slideshow. Oh, the other thing is Canva I want to talk about. There's some really good organizational tips you can do in there, but maybe I'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to social media week. Now, let me see that I can just reopen my slideshow. It's going really well. I hope this is useful. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Back. Okay, so we are going to talk a little bit more about some of these processes in various weeks. Present, yes, please. Thank you. Screen sharing, yes. Okay. So a lot of things that you can automate in your business will be the emails when you're content planning, which is why it's nice to do. You can do like a blog. Oh, it's resume share. Sorry, it keeps doing this. Okay, stop sharing. It clearly does not like going between pages. Okay, there we go. Okay. So there is a lot of things we'll be able to automate, and we'll talk about the emails and different providers that you can use when we get to the email week and when we create your it's called. We're going to create a little piece together for you to collect emails. Content, you can use a lot of programs that you can schedule them for later, but I actually think Instagram, for example, you can already put a later, like just schedule when you want to post it, so you can create it and then just let it be. Funnels is a huge one. Linktree is something that we're going to look at as well one week. Feel free to look at it now. Website SEO, sales pages, there's a lot of things that can just automate themselves. Finances as well, there's a lot of things that you can do. We're actually going to have a finance week, and when we're going to talk about what you need as far as insurance, what you need to look at as far as finances, taxes, all of those really fun things. But these are important, like super important. If you're going to bring money in, you need to know where it goes, and you need to know how much of it you need. Things that I used to have in the past, I used to have Kajabi. So Kajabi is a platform where you can do so many things. You can do emails, you can host courses, podcasts. It's great, but it does cost around the $200 mark a month. And for me, that was a little bit too much. However, I have tried to kind of do it myself this time with the Flow Desk emails, and I'm using Thrivecart to host a course, which is fine because it's a one-off payment. But I have to say, Kajabi is absolutely amazing. If you're really wanting to, it's on my list of like when I upgrade and, when the money starts flowing in a little bit more, that I think that's definitely going to be one of my investments, because it just works really, really well. But I need to accept where I am right now, and this is working great too. Now, as far as automate your home life, I think this is also things that are really cool to put on the list. Like, can you order your groceries in? I've got a list of like 14 easy meals that I kind of rotate. And sometimes I get inspired. I also have the Thermomix, which is very helpful. But these are all time-saving things. A cleaner, actually not as expensive as you could possibly think. And I really like having that. It definitely helps keep on top of everything. Systems in your home. So this is a huge one too. Like, can we empower other people to take on the workload? I think as mothers, we think we've got to do so many and do all the things. But if you are a mother starting a business and you do have kids, like those two things are already huge. So can we get your partner on board? One thing that I did in our household was we actually had a schedule in the evening, which we haven't done since we moved house, but it was really like the person who did bath time, the person who was in the kitchen, the person who cleaned up at the end of the night. And it worked really well because it meant that each of us had a kind of day off doing all the things. And it was just really empowering that we both kind of knew where we were supposed to be, and it just kind of worked. The other thing is like Izzy's 4. And she really likes getting involved with things too. And she has her own little schedule of tasks that need to be completed before she can have her, chocolate and sit down and watch TV, or before she can go on the iPad and play for a bit, or whatever it is that's her reward. It is really nice to start those things. Another really good thing is a 10-minute family cleanup. Like, it shouldn't always be all you, and I think it should really be a family thing, that we take care of the environment, we clean up. Not always easy, but to be fair, even Zayden, more than Elijah, to be fair, that's one of my twin boys there too. And then when I say it's pack away time, like generally he is pretty good at just putting things in a box. It won't be perfect, it might not be perfect, but I think starting the routine will just help you more and more have those things automated. Another thing that I've had too, and if you are a mum that's dropping off your kids at school, or if your kids go to daycare, I sometimes got a bit trapped in while they're at daycare, I need to get all these things done while they're at daycare, including laundry and groceries and cooking and blah, blah, blah. And the reality is I want to prioritize my business, and doing my business and doing this is absolutely impossible for me while my kids are around. I could not be presenting this grounded in a nice environment right now if my twin boys were around or if my kids were around. However, I can actually cook dinner while they're around, and I can actually do the laundry while they're around, and also still spend time with them and potentially bring them in the kitchen and get them doing something with me. So I do think that was a lesson for me, and I'm just sharing it. It might not be for everyone, but I think it's important to understand that sometimes you can do more than you think if you just try. Sometimes you just got to try and keep trying until it works out the way that you want it to. Sometimes it's not about being perfect, it's about being done the first time so it can be better the second time. And I think this is so true, that sometimes we focus on like, it just has to be this. But if you don't even do it once, then you can never do it the second time to make it better again. Just do the first copy, do the first draft, and understand that there's going to be a draft, there's going to be copy after copy after copy, but you can't get better if you're not even doing one of them. So just get started. Now, coming back to your vision board, and something that I would really love for you to think about this week as well, on top of your time audit, is, can we merge this timeline between where your vision is and what that feels like and bring it to now? A huge message that I often get from Source and angels, or whatever you want to say, is, you're manifesting all this stuff, but there's a lot of things you can do right now that you're not doing. Like, can you change your environment today? Like, what's your dream house look like? Like, how do you take care of it? What are the habits that you would have every day when you're in that dream house, in that dream zone? Like, why are you not bringing it to today? What's the procrastination around that? How would you take care of yourself in that dream house? How would you hold yourself in that dream house? Like, a big thing for me is, like, I actually do really enjoy clothing, and I enjoy wearing nice things. Probably not an example today, and I'm not very good at it yet. I'm definitely not very good at it. Like, having kids, your body changes, a lot of things changes, this age, they're also messy, like everything gets dirty, but it is definitely on my vision board to be able to afford good quality, sustainable clothing, and also be able to reward people that are doing really good work in that space, and, clothing that feels good. So as much as it's not always possible for me right now, am I doing some things already towards that goal? Because, like, where am I spending my money? What am I doing? Am I buying 3 cheap, crappy things, or am I actually going somewhere and buying something of good quality that I'm going to enjoy wearing over and over again? Just a little example. And actually, in saying that, it's not always like about the cheap. For me, it's like how a piece of clothing feels, and it can be just as expensive as it can be not expensive. It's all about the touch, and that's a really cool thing that you can do as well with anything. It's like, what's of value to you? Like, what does quality actually mean to you, and can you already actually afford a lot of those things that are of quality in your life, and then just vision board the rest. But what can we actually change right now? And acknowledging what that means to you and what that is a huge step too. Like, don't be shy. You're only living once, and fair enough, we're not going to take all of these to the grave, but the time is now, so let's feel really precious about it. All right, challenge this week. Your environment matters. I'm a huge believer that your environment, your work desk, what is happening around you is a huge reflection to what is going on in your mind. So this week, I wanted you to take 20 minutes. Yes, I love my 20 minutes of decluttering or organizing something that you've been putting off for a really long time. That can include your phone photos, it could include your emails, it could include your laptop. Just 20 minutes, and I want you to come tell me what that was. And I will ask you on the call to tell me what it is that you decluttered. Bonus points if you actually manage to add this to a weekly habit, a 20-minute declutter time. Right, that's it. Enjoy. Go get organized, and I will see you next week for some human design, and we're going to get more into the energy of everything. Enjoy. Mwah.